What's up, football heads? Welcome back to that show. I am Kyle. Cesar is Cesar, and we are joined this week by the Buffalorian and
Cheers.
his undefeated Bills and his buffalo wing koozie that it looks like something that's not a buffalo wing, but I don't know what it is.
Well, it's a fucking buffalo drumstick, Kyle.
And there you go.
I mean, it looks like lava. Just looks like a.
That's always my thought. Is like it looks like a lava rock.
Someone
or
this
something.
morning said it looked like lava because it hasn't been painted yet. All right, calm down. It hasn't been painted or sanded.
It's a work in progress. I can't get it.
It's definitely a chicken wing. Get out of here.
Yeah.
I just spilled this non-alcoholic beer all over my computer.
Oh, that's great.
We're off to a hot start. Hopefully, the slate this week will get off to a hot start tomorrow or today, depending on when you're listening to this. Seattle Seahawks at Arizona Cardinals, 2-2-1 teams in what is right now the best division in football. Start out with Cesar. Who you got?
I'm rooting for the Cardinals because fuck the Seahawks. They always fuck me over. Just as Geno Smith always fucks me over. So I'm not going to pick the Seahawks at all this season. I'm just going to pick whoever they're facing. So I'm picking the Cardinals.
Okay. Buffalorian, Tanner?
I think that the Seahawks are going to pull it out, personally. But I think it's going to be a good game, and I think that Marvin Harrison Jr. is finally going to break out. And mostly I think that because I benched him.
I was going to ask, does this have to do with your fantasy
Yeah,
team?
100%. But no, I think he's due. I think, it's just one of those things. He's in his second year. He's having a slower start. At some point, he's going to break out a bit, kind of separate himself. He's got the talent for it. So why not it be this week?
Yeah, he's taking the Quentin Johnston route of terrible first year, ton of drops, key drops in key spots in his second year, and then maybe next year he'll be a stud when you don't have him on your fantasy team. But
Right.
It's hard to be a stud when you have Tweety Bird as your quarterback throwing balls at you where he can barely see you over the offensive lineman. So
the Ewok just scrambling around.
He runs like Tweety Bird. Have you ever seen the Looney Tunes cartoons? He runs like Tweety Bird running away from Sylvester. Like, I thought who did that? And then he just throws a dart and then that's it.
But Tweety Bird always wins.
I mean, he's a Cardinal. Good for him.
He's not. He's not a Cardinal.
He's a bird, I guess, but some
might as well say he's an eagle.
Nature.
No. I'm not saying Tweety Bird's a Cardinal. I'm saying, Kyler Murray is a Cardinal.
All right. Well, what has me interested, I'm very intrigued by Seattle. I was talking to Adam, who grinds his regression statistics in the offseason, and Seattle was the one team that he had like no markers for regression on. And he's like, I have no idea what the Seahawks are going to be, but their Ds look good. Arizona, however, they've allowed the sixth fewest sacks in the league, but Seattle is giving up, or Arizona has the sixth fewest sacks in the league. Excuse me. Seattle's giving up the eighth highest pressure rate, but they're tied for the second fewest sacks, which to me means Sam Darnold is getting the ball out, where he hasn't been rattled, which is good because that tends to be when he craters. Both their run games are pretty mid. James Conner is out, so I don't know. Arizona, their run game probably going to get worse. Neither one of them has a particularly high blitz rate, so I'm going to pick Seattle. I think I can't trust Kyler Murray. They don't have Marvin Harrison Jr. going, and I don't know. Seattle's just look good. And they got to get my boy Torrey Horton going in the pass game. He had a kickoff return for a touchdown last week, but right. I'm on Seattle. So we're all on Seattle? Right?
No, I said Cardinals. I'm not picking Seattle
right.
anywhere,
but
any place.
that means Seattle's going to win. So I feel good about that. All right, next up we got the international game, 6:30 a.m. Pacific time. Not super happy about that because my Minnesota Vikings traveling to Dublin take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Tanner, who you got in this one?
I've got the Vikings. I think, though, it's going to be a bit of a regression from the last
Well, yeah.
incredible showing. But like not only like in like the obvious ways, but also I think there's going to be a bit of struggle because I mean I've seen this happen before, right? Where like the backup comes in and you got injuries and things like that, and then you had a poor performance, and then you just have a blowout where like the backup comes in and looks like an absolute superstar, even though the reason they're a backup is because they used to be considered a potential superstar and then sucked really badly, and then they have this outing and it's great. But so I think there's going to be a bit of regression, but I think they're going to win. I don't think that we have a Sam Darnold situation with Carson Wentz. But so I think that it's going to be a little rough, but I think they're going to come out with a win. I think that Aaron Rodgers is fucking. You're going to be so pissed at this. I think he's washed, but not in the way that like most people say someone's washed. Like not in the way where like they have a bad outing and they're like, oh, he's washed. Like I just think he is so fatigued as a human because he's so far up his own ass that he just can't be as good at football as he thinks he is anymore, and that is what it is. I think
Rodgers loves ball, man. He's locked in. Whether he's washed or not,
I'm not saying
when he's in season, he's locked in.
I still think
you're
he's
talking
full
about
of shit and he's locked in. What?
You're talking about Rodgers?
Yeah.
I think we're talking about Wentz.
Oh,
no, he shifted gears.
Because they're the same. Wentz is also washed up that thinks he's better than he is, and he's still.
Well, it's a very different kind of wash, dude. I mean, you can't compare Aaron Rodgers and Carson Wentz.
Listen, I would not bet against a man in black and yellow this season against the Minnesota Vikings. Sorry, Kyle. I'm picking the Steelers.
All right, pal. All right. Well, as is customary, I will not pick the Vikings game. However, as I say every week, the Vikings should win this game, and here's why. The O-line is healthy. Donovan Jackson's going to miss a couple games. He had wrist surgery, played through it in the Cincinnati game because he's a warrior, just a stud. But Blake Brandel came in for a couple drives. Donovan Jackson went out with a bloody nose. And Blake Brandel last year in the games that he played with Darrisaw to his left allowed 6 pressures in 6 games. Then he allowed 36 pressures in the last 11 games. Darrisaw is healthy. Darrisaw played. If you watch the game, if you watch the tape, Darrisaw is just a beautiful human being, a monster. I cannot express to you how this man at left tackle comes in and solved pretty much all of the offensive problems, which however much of that is on J.J. McCarthy and his lack of experience and then moving to a guy who has experience, it's not the whole problem. Play calling, the run game, the blocking scheme, the communication on the offensive line, like everything, it was night and day because Darrisaw stepped in. They're getting Ryan Kelly back from the concussion, and that made all the difference. They had 2 rushing touchdowns from inside the 5 against Cincinnati, which is, I believe, the same amount they had in the entire 2023 season, which is ridiculous. And now we got Jordan Mason as the lead back, who is a sledgehammer, and it's just beautiful to watch. They averaged over 8 yards a carry running to the left side behind Darrisaw. But like Tanner said, it's not sustainable what they did last week. Isaiah Rodgers literally had the greatest individual performance in possibly defensive history, definitely defensive back history, did something nobody's ever done. And yeah, you do. And I'm glad to have him. And he did it in the first half, but they don't need to replicate that. Like, they blew out Cincinnati. They don't need to blow out Pittsburgh. They just need to win the game. Pittsburgh 2-1, but their defense has been kind of rough. They held New England to 14 points, but New England moved the ball consistently throughout the game, and they turned the ball over 5 times. They fumbled 4 times, and they lost all 4 fumbles. So, like, we forced 5 turnovers, won by 38 points. Pittsburgh forced 5 turnovers. They won by 7 points. The offense, it looks more like an Artie Smith offense than the typical Rodgers offense. They're not taking a lot of deep shots. They're running the ball fairly efficiently, but it's not like a top 5, top 10 type of unit. I think the questions are, because Wentz was did not look like a superstar, but he also did not look like just bozo Carson Wentz. He was efficient, 14 for 20, 2 passing touchdowns. He looked really sharp on the first drive. You could tell he was emotional because he grew up a Vikings fan. Took a few sacks, but he kind of settled in. It was a competent, efficient performance, and Kevin O'Connell referred to him as a point guard. So if he can continue to be a point guard for this offense, I don't see any reason why they can't win a bunch of games until J.J. McCarthy comes back. But can Pittsburgh protect Rodgers? They have the 4th highest pressure rate allowed, according to Pro Football Reference, because pressures are like – there's just no congruency in it, and it bothers the hell out of me from publication to publication. But Minnesota has the 2nd highest pressure rate in the league. Pittsburgh has the 5th highest defensive pressure rate, but I think with Darrisaw back, with Kelly back, they shut down. Trey Hendrickson had 1 tackle. That's it. Nothing. He didn't have a pressure, didn't have a hit, didn't have a hurry, didn't have a sack, had nothing. He had 1 tackle. Now, granted, you got TJ Watt, Cam Hayward, Derek Harmon looked good coming back from the injury as a rookie, so there's more pieces to deal with. But I think Minnesota's offensive line up front, we also saw Kevin O'Connell switch to more of a quick game, which I've been screaming about for years now with Kevin O'Connell. And I don't know why they didn't do this with essentially a rookie quarterback, but they're doing it now with Wentz. So I think they get the ball out quickly. I think the defense is going to get a lot of heat on Rodgers. He can't move around like he used to. The Vikings should go into Dublin. They are, and you know what? I'm not going to say it because I don't want to jinx it. Their record in international play, let's just say it's
Positive.
Quite flawless.
Yeah.
So I'm not picking the game, but the Vikings should win this game. And Cesar, your lack of faith disturbs me. Come on.
I'm not saying this is not the fact. I'm not saying the Vikings are not good enough. I'm just saying Aaron Rodgers is your daddy. That's all I'm saying.
Is he? Because I'm pretty sure that record's about 500 over his career against the Vikings. I'm pretty sure we played him in London last year, and go ask Andrew Van Ginkel whose daddy is whose daddy.
Hey, he was in the Jets. Nobody does well in the Jets. All right? Nobody.
I mean, the Steelers
That's a lame excuse.
It's fair. Honestly, some teams are that bad where it's like it doesn't actually make sense, but it makes sense. But Pittsburgh is habitually like 9-8, maybe 10-7. Both their wins this year, they beat the Jets, and they gave up a ton of points to the Jets, who stink. And then, again, they beat New England by 7 points, and they forced 5 turnovers. And they couldn't do anything with it.
This is going to be a game decided by the defense and not the offense. You said it yourself. Yeah.
So why are you harping on Rodgers then? He don't play defense. I know he does play defense. Andrew Van Ginkel, who picked sixed him last year in London, and guess what? Had 2 sacks and 8 snaps against Cincinnati.
We'll see what happens, but I feel like Rodgers is going to be able to come up with anything that he needs to win this game. All right?
So it is offensive. You're back and forth, brother.
Shut the fuck up.
He's lost.
I got the Steelers.
Lost.
I got the Steelers. Well, this is Russell Wilson because this is last year's.
Yeah, that's a sign. You could throw that in the trash with Russ. All right, next up we got the Washington Commanders at the Atlanta Falcons. Caesar, who you like in this one?
Last week, I was very disappointed in the fact that the Falcons played horribly. Like, horribly. It was not a good game for them. It was not a good week for them. But I feel like this week they're going to be able to bounce back from that loss. Unfortunately, the Washington Commanders have not looked as dominant as they did last year. Obviously, right now, Jaden Daniels is not playing. He's injured. He's recovering from that injury. I don't think he's going to be good to go anytime soon. And that's going to be a lot of trouble for the Commanders. So I'm picking the Falcons. I think they're going to be able to bounce back from last week's horrible game, which felt like they were just not they were not communicating well. Nothing was going well for them last week. So I'm picking the Falcons. They're going to be able to bounce back. Where's my Falcons there? Here it is. B. John Robinson right here.
Get that out of my sight. I don't want to see that man ever again in my life.
That's what you get for actually talking him up. That's what you get.
It wasn't that bad. I said I'm not there yet on him being like a top 3 running back, and then he runs for 200 yards against us. Which whatever, it's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Disagree with that statement.
All right, Tanner, who you got?
I am going with Bijan Robinson. I'm going with the Falcons. Because Cesar's point, I actually think it was generous to say that they played horribly. It's. I don't know what the fuck happened, but I don't think that's the team, though. I really don't. It's just one of those things, and one of those weeks. It is what it is. I think they definitely bounce back, and I think they have a lot of talent. I think
they do.
That when
it's
that
not just
talent,
because they beat the Vikings.
No, but like when that talent merges and they've got a good game plan and they're firing all cylinders, I think they can be pretty dangerous. So I think that they'll bounce back. I don't know necessarily if it'll be a dominant win, but I think they win.
I have so many questions about this game. Does Jaden Daniels play? A report came out that he said he feels great, but it's up to the training staff. So what does that mean? That doesn't really mean anything. J.J. McCarthy said he felt great last week, and they're saying, he might not come back until after the bye. So, who knows? And then Atlanta, it's like, who are you? The first game, they looked really good in parts of the game. They looked really bad in other parts of the game. Then they looked, other than in the red zone, they looked dominant in the run game at the very least against Minnesota. They finally had a pass rush after 10 years of not having any pass rush whatsoever. And Michael Penix, he watch him and it's he looks efficient. He's accurate, but he also has the worst bad throw percentage in the league, which I was surprised to find out. The run game's been inconsistent. What?
He can't tackle for shit either.
Would he throw a pick and
he tried to tackle and I don't know.
That's the one game I have seen absolutely nothing from. I know nothing about that game other than it was
It just says that,
terrible.
Tanner said earlier, just saying that he tried to tackle, it's putting it above what he actually tried to do. He did not do shit. He graced the shoulder or the leg or whatever.
It was so bad that Kirko Chains came in.
Yeah.
that specific tackle.
Oof. But they can't decide if they ran. Bijan had 13 carries, and of course you're getting blown out. You can't really run the ball. But then the week before they ran the ball 39 times. They can't decide who they want to be, what they want to be, how they're going to be it. But it's hard to judge Washington without knowing who's going to start because Mariota was, again, like Carson Wentz, competent, but they didn't ask him to do anything. I watched every snap of that game, and they ran all over Vegas, and then their return game, both punt and kickoff returns, were fantastic. So they were set up with field position the whole day. They were getting explosive runs. They had 3 guys running the ball that were just running through, around, over, and through Vegas the entire day. But the Falcons, they're top 10 in run defense and top 12 in yards per carry allowed. So I'm because this is my show, and I am the producer and creator of this show. It's Cesar's show, but it's my show. I am going to pick the Falcons unless Jaden Daniels starts. If we get word before kickoff Jaden Daniels starts, I am officially shifting my pick to the Washington Commanders. And I'm allowed to do this.
So for more slump,
I'm not changing my pick. Regardless.
So for more
I don't know.
So for more
I don't know. I don't know what to expect.
All right.
The fact it's only 3 games, it's a small sample size, but who are the Falcons? I have no idea. They have the talent. Talent-wise, there's no reason they should have been.
It's been 4 games. You're not counting the NFC Championship game where they got blown out by the Eagles.
I'm talking about the Falcons.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Jaden Daniels being mid.
And that's also last year. So That has nothing to do with this season.
It counts. It counts. It was the last game before the season started. They played horrible.
That's not a real. That's not a thing.
It was the beginning of the slump.
Playoffs are also completely different in football too.
Yeah, of course.
It doesn't count for so many
You're
reasons.
supposed to be the best, and then you just get blown
Oh
out.
no, they lost to the team that won the Super Bowl, the best team in the
fucking
league, the best
losers.
roster in the league. Oh god.
I will never forget in that game, Jaden Daniels being like 30 points down, and then he just runs for a touchdown, and instead of just like, let's get back to the fucking game, let's keep going, let's try to fucking win this, he decides to celebrate the touchdown like he's like in the game still. Like, dude, come on. That to me was a moment where every bit of, at the lack of a better term, aura that Jaden Daniels had was lost forever for me. That was like, yeah, you're a bitch.
I disagree with every word you
sessions you
just
have.
said.
You're just being a bitch.
Yet he's an Eagles fan, the most obnoxious fan base in the history of sports, including all the soccer hooligans.
I don't
Whatever.
begrudge anyone for celebrating.
We got to move on. We got to move on. New Orleans, Buffalo. We do not need to spend hardly any time on this. Sorry, Tanner. I know you went. You could feel free to talk about your Bills all you want, but you go ahead.
No, I don't need to spend any time on it. Be good, do
Besides
good. God
Josh
bless, go
Allen's
Bills. It's football, baby. Anything can happen, but it's not going to happen. Bills by a billion.
You're home last season in that stadium.
We haven't lost at home in over a year and a half.
Yeah.
It's
So
a 1 p.m. game
in that stadium. So, yeah, the Saints have zero chance of beating the Bills and beating Josh Allen, who's having a great year, another great year, I should say, because he's been having some great years for the past couple of seasons. He's looking like
reigning MVP.
Reigning, defending, undisputed.
Well, it was disputed.
Yeah, by bozos. Not on this show. On this show, we were pounding the Josh Allen drum since week 5, baby.
Yeah, like before he was being like considered for like, yeah, we've been saying he's the MVP of the league. In fact,
Not in this
the season
program.
before, the season before, we agreed that he was supposed to be the MVP. So, yeah,
Fuck yeah.
he's a bad man.
Yeah, I mean,
He's a very
So we
bad
agree,
man.
go Bills.
Yeah, I mean, the Bills haven't turned the ball over in 8 games, and they haven't lost the turnover margin in 25 games.
Yeah.
Which is a record.
Like
the Saints.
Go ahead. Sorry.
The Saints have absolutely no shot of winning this game unless they dramatically win the turnover margin. And Josh Allen has 0 interceptions on the season, and the Bills as a team have 0 fumbles. Not 0 fumbles lost, 0 fumbles. So,
I mean, and there's just absolutely no reason to believe that will change for this game. I can see a situation where that could in certain outings. I don't think it's going to be this one. And, yeah, I mean, we're just not going to fucking lose the Saints at home.
I will say this, Spencer Rattler only has 1 interception. So,
I mean, my only thing is, like, our defense this year is so it's a roller coaster. It's a roller coaster. Like, at times it is like, what in the actual fuck even is this? And then at times it's like, oh, you're playing very well. And so it's hard to tell what you're going to get. But I think that results in close games. I don't think that results in a loss because on the other side of the ball, you have fucking Josh Allen doing Josh Allen things. And James Cook, by the way, like, possibly number 1 fucking running back this year so far. Like, he is playing lights out. Insane. So,
yeah, I mean, the Bills lead the league in rushing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. All right, let's move on. Go Bills. Next, we got the Cleveland Browns at the Detroit Lions. Can Cleveland do it 2 weeks in a row, Cesar? You're muted also. So, okay, Tanner, can Cleveland do it 2 weeks in a row?
Absolutely not. They shouldn't have even done it last week. Let's be honest. I mean, I don't know what that was.
Don't sleep on their defense, man. They got pieces.
But like Green Bay, that's who it was, right? Green Bay.
Yeah.
Green Bay's overrated.
Maybe so, but like
I didn't say it, but
they're still not like on the lower tier of things by any stretch, like in terms of
Yeah,
talent
the
and what
most
they're able to do.
overrated contender.
So my thing is like the Browns, like much like the Jets, will almost always be the Browns. I mean, so I've never seen the light at the end of the tunnel. You know what I mean? Like they've never even shown it in like glimpses. So I don't know what that was. I don't think it's something that can remain consistent. I think it is Detroit by a billion.
Caesar?
Listen, I feel like the kneecap biting Lions are back. Finally. Last week,
finally, it was like 2 games. It was the playoff game and then week 1.
What I'm saying is that people have started saying, "Oh, I don't think Dan Campbell is good enough. I think his coordinators are being very missed in that team." So it's like, yeah, well, let's give it a shot. Like, it's not just count the Lions out yet. They have a great roster. That coach has a great culture. He's gonna be able to get this team back to how they were in the past, how they have been in the past couple of seasons. And last week, it finally happened. They finally came in, kneecap biting. Like Sonic and Knuckles had themselves one of a great game, and they just dominated. And I'm glad for them to be back in that position because I do like the Lions. It's not like I hate every other team in the NFC. I don't hate any other team in the NFC. I just hate the bum ass Packers and the fuckers in the Buccaneers sections. But the Lions are a great team.
And the Niners and every other team in your division.
Well, the Niners
like
are just
teams in the
conference. The Niners are just crybabies that dominated one game and that was it. Bad season for us. Anyways, I was saying that the Lions are a great team. They have a great roster. They have a great coach. They have a great culture behind it. And I know that
they're healthy.
They're healthy too. They were not healthy at the end of last season because they were running at a pace that was not sustainable. Sorry, they were running at a pace that's definitely going to get your guys hurt. So this season they might be a little bit slower than they were last season or the season before, but they're still going to be a contender. They're definitely going to make the playoffs. I think Dan Campbell's going to get this team back on track.
I think I don't ever think they were off track. They lost a divisional game week 1. Week 1's weird. I will say again, we cannot sleep on the Browns defense. Myles Garrett was getting triple teamed and still getting pressures on Jordan Love last week. And Mason Graham, their rookie that they traded back, they could have had Travis Hunter and they traded back and they took Mason Graham. Mason Graham has a 43% pass rush win rate. To put that into context, the league average is 8%. They got some dogs on that defense. However, I'm picking the Lions because the Lions is still the Lions. I never had a doubt that the Lions would be the Lions. But what I like to do, here's how the Browns could win the game. It's similar to last week. The defensive line has to get pressure on Goff. Goff is a completely different quarterback when he's under duress. They're probably going to need something. You need something from your offense. You probably need something from your special teams, but they need to force Goff to make mistakes, make him less because like he's an assassin. If you don't get pressure on him, and not just pressure but consistent pressure, he's gonna carve you to pieces.
Not to mention the dynamic play calling that they have for that team. Not necessarily like Goff is not necessarily one that's going to be making the play. I mean, they might come out some trick plays and stuff like you don't even know what the hell they're doing, flea flickers and shit like that. Like, yeah,
no, their trick plays are like butter, dude. Ugh. So good.
It's fantastic. But the Browns have the 3rd most sacks in the league. They're a middle of the pack blitz rate team, and the Lions have been blitzed the fewest in football. But the Browns have by far the best run defense. The Lions have the 4th best run offense in the league, so that can make it interesting. If the Browns stop the run on the early downs, force 3rd and longs where they can just pin their ears back and rush the passer and get pressure on Goff consistently, you're going to need a couple well-timed turnovers like they had the well-timed interception against Jordan Love, and you're going to have to score more than 13 points. It's not going to happen, but that's the only way it can happen. I'm picking.
And you're going to have to score those points before the very end.
Yeah. It was 10-0 with like 7 minutes left or 8 minutes left or something.
It was like a mini Bills Ravens.
Oh my God!
From Joe Flacco.
All right,
I
next
mean,
up we got
Watt
an
had a
AFC.
great fucking career. Anyway, go ahead.
Next up we got an AFC South matchup: Tennessee Titans at Houston Texans. Cesar, who you got here?
Nobody cares. I mean, good for the Titans. They blocked a field goal last week. It's the Titans and the Texans. Texans are not a good team this season. The Titans, they're still in rebuild mode. It's going to be one of those games that nobody's going to be watching except for the fans of those teams, and they're probably going to be hating the fact that they're watching those games instead of watching something good. So if I have to pick one, I'm picking the Titans just for the hell of it. Not because I believe that they can win, but because I don't think the Texans have what it takes to win. I don't care. They suck this year.
Who do the Titans have? Like, am I like?
What do you mean?
Like, is there any like? I feel like every team, no matter like the Browns are the fucking Browns, but they still have Myles Garrett. The Jets are the Jets.
Jeffrey Simmons.
Okay, but like
Rookie quarterback Cam Ward.
you got to prove that shit. you can't just be that pick and then fucking
I
people
like
just believe
the
in you.
pieces on their offensive line, but they have not been playing well, and I don't know why, because they're super talented.
I just don't. Yeah, I don't
They're
know.
a trench team. The problem is Tavondre Sweat is out, and their run defense has not been good. They're 29th in rushing yards allowed because they don't have it. But Texans are only 23rd in rushing, though, so I don't know that that's going to do anything.
I guess all this to say, I just have zero faith that the Titans can really do anything. So I'm going with the Texans.
Yeah,
Go ahead. Sorry.
It's interesting to me because like I've been screaming all off season, and you see people like Bill Barnwell and Ben Solak, these Muppets writing for ESPN, where they're like, oh, the Texans identified their weakness on the offensive line and they really attacked it in the offseason. It's like, yeah, they traded their best offensive linemen and then they acquired the two worst rated guards over the last 2 years and made them starters. Now, shouts out Ed Ingram, who for whatever reason was god awful as a Viking and now is playing like competent football for whatever reason. But in my mind, I'm like, yeah, their offensive line sucks and CJ Stroud is running for his life. But then I looked it up and they're like dead in the middle on pressures allowed and pressure rates. They lead the league in hurries allowed. They've given up 8 sacks, which is tied for 22nd, so it's not good. It's not even mid, but it's not like the worst of the worst. They're middle of the pack in bad throws, and they're top 7, CJ Stroud is, on target throw percentage. So, like, I don't understand. I haven't watched enough snaps. Like, I want to watch the tape because I don't understand why they're as bad as they are. Because the offensive line is not giving up a ton of pressures. They're not giving up a ton of sacks. He's not under duress that much. He's not turning the ball over that much. They're just not moving the ball. I guess it's. I mean, Cesar, what do we always say? Run the ball, and they can't run the ball. So maybe it's that, but even then, like, you got to be able to. They got talent at wide receiver. Like, Jaden Higgins is a super intriguing rookie. You got Nico Collins. Like, why are they this bad? I just assumed it was how bad the offensive line looks on paper, but I don't know. But to Tanner's point, like, I'm the biggest Tavondre Sweat fan on the planet. He's not playing. I love Jeffrey Simmons. I love that they're building the team from the inside out, but the offensive line's not playing well. Cam Ward's under pressure all the time. And I'm picking the Texans, I guess. All that to say, I'm picking the Texans.
Hey. I lost my train of thought, but I was going to say something about the Texans real quick. What exactly is it about the Texans that people still believe that they have what it takes to win?
They play in a bad division because people still don't believe in the Colts just yet?
That was it. Now that the Colts are actually dominating, they're going to be
dominating.
They're dominating. The Colts are dominating right now. Dan
Jones is doing stuff that – Tanner, you're muted. Dan Jones is doing stuff that literally no Indianapolis quarterback has ever done before, and that includes Peyton Manning and Johnny Unitas.
Yeah.
So, like,
all I said was Danny Dimes MVP.
It's not
Yeah, I
Danny
mean,
Dimes
he's-
anymore.
Danny Diamond's Indiana Jones,
Indiana
baby.
Jones.
Love it.
Anyways, so this is gotta be the season where they get exposed as this is another run-of-the-mill team, and finally the AFC South is gonna have a new conference division champion. What is that? You guys hear that?
Yeah, that tapping. God, this
Oh.
is This is terrible radio.
That was me. I was anxiously shaking my leg.
Co's
Sorry.
gonna love this. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we're Caesar's for the hell of it picking the Titans, and we're on the Texans. But I don't know. It's weird that like I didn't think the Texans would be a great team this year because you have to have a great offense. You have to have at least a good offensive line, and they're just terrible. I don't know why.
Listen,
But
I'm so confident that the Titans are gonna win this game that I'm gonna do something I do not do.
oh
I'm
boy,
gonna bet on this game, and I'm betting the Titans will win. And that's how
Enjoy-
confident I am
enjoy
the
that.
Titans are gonna win.
Who are you betting?
That seems
with,
like a
or
terrible
just
decision.
like making an actual sports bet. You mean?
I'm out baking actual sports bet.
Great. Good luck,
let's
sir.
see what the odds are. Now that we're a gambling cast, let's see if it's worth it for you. Yeah, they're
First
plus
time-
305.
First time
Make
I'll
some
ever
decent
gamble in my
money.
life.
3-1 odds, not bad. Anyway, let's move on. We got Carolina at New England. Tanner, who you like in this one, or do you care? Because these teams suck.
I like New England. I honestly
Do you?
think. I mean, not in that way. I think that they're going to be like number 2 in the division this year. Obviously behind the
agree.
Bills. Like I
agree.
can't see a world where
It's a low bar.
it's a low bar. I just can't see a world where they're that bad, like the
Can't
other
be
two
worse
are.
than the Dolphins.
But at the same time, like I actually do think that they'll be second in the division, rightfully so. Like I think that they're going to get their feet underneath them. I think they have talent there. There's things that are starting to work. Drake May is still a science experiment, work in progress. I think that people expect like the moment people started saying, "Oh, he's like Josh Allen," like why are you doing that to this person? You know what I mean? Like, no, he's not. And he's not going to be. He's going to, hopefully, he'll be himself. But, like, he's got talent, and I think that he will start figuring it out. I don't think he's going to be a bum. But, no, I think that they're going to start figuring the shit out. I think it starts this week, and they're going to put in a solid performance and come away with a dub.
Yeah, it's a work in progress. Like they have to be better under Mike Vrabel, and like they got a lot more pieces. Like last year, they had no talent at all.
Yeah.
They got a lot more talent, and it's going to take some time.
I mean, they got guys you've never heard of starting to do shit, which I like. You know what I mean? Because I mean that's the whole Bills success story. It's just guys if you don't follow the team, people you've never fucking heard of, just making giant plays, and like you're starting to see a little bit of that happen there, and I think that's a lot of Vrabel influence. So yeah, I agree.
All right, Cesar, who you got?
No, I completely agree with what Tanner said. He said that the quarterback is a work in progress or an experiment, as he put it. I believe the whole team is a work in progress and an experiment, and I think it's paying off. I think it's slowly getting traction. I think it's slowly improving and going slowly, into becoming an actual competent team and possibly a contender in a couple of years if they continue to grow and be successful. Vrabel is definitely a great coach for that organization. Clearly, he's doing something good with them. I think he's inspiring these players into being good and actually making sure that they give their best, no matter what the circumstances are, no matter how bad the circumstances look in front of them. So I'm definitely picking the Patriots in this game. Panthers, they had a good game last week. They surprised me. I did not expect them to play and win. They did win last week, right?
Panthers?
Yeah.
Yeah, they beat the crap
Falcons
out of the Falcons.
Yeah. So they had that big win against the Falcons. I don't think they can sustain that momentum. I believe the Patriots are going to win this game.
You know what's interesting about this? Because my perception was coming in like the Panthers offense was starting to figure things out last year. Like they almost beat the Eagles, they almost beat the Chiefs. And then the offense has been terrible, and like the defense, they didn't really add any pieces, and they don't really have any pieces. There's like a couple. They got what's his face, J.C. Horn, and they got Derek Brown. But beyond that, like who do they really have? And they were terrible last year. But the Panthers are top 5 in completion percentage allowed, and they're second in the league in defensive passer rating, which is interesting. And they're tied for second with 4 interceptions. But Drake May is having, by the numbers, a pretty good year, but I feel like he's making critical mistakes at the worst possible times, which is just I don't think that's in his DNA. It is to an extent because he does kind of play a little YOLO ball. I get the Josh Allen comparison, but again, don't put those expectations on him. But the team, it's gonna drive Vrabel nuts. They're turning the ball over way too much and in the worst possible times. They pulled the anti-Bill Belichick, where with Bill Belichick, the middle 8 is the most critical part of the game. The last 4 minutes of the first half, first 4 minutes of the second half. You know, if you could get the double dip, score at the end of the half, and then score coming out of the half and put up 10, 14 points unanswered without the other team touching the ball, that's what you want to do. Well, they fumbled the ball and lost it at the goal line at the end of the first half, and then they fumbled the ball and lost it in the first possession of the second half. So I don't know, but Bryce Young is he's in the 20s in virtually every meaningful quarterback metric. So, 30-0 is nice, but it's not like Bryce Young was really doing much for you. I feel like Chuba Hubbard's had a decent season, but I'm with you guys. I'm taking the Patriots. Oh, I hear the pen clicking. That means he's writing it down. So we got him tracked. All right. Let's move on. We got the Los Angeles Chargers at the New Jersey Giants.
Oof.
Caesar, who you got?
Listen, this is going to be one of those games that I actually want to watch. I'm going to tell you why.
For the bloodbath?
No. That could be exciting or completely boring, but Jackson Dart's going to start for the Giants right now.
Yes, he is.
So we're going to see. The fans were chanting for him last week. They want Dart. We want Dart. We want Dart.
They got him for 2 snaps.
Now they got him. Now Jackson Dart is going to be the starting quarterback from the Giants from now on. Russell Wilson has been benched. It's going to be interesting to see that dynamic for a full game in the regular season, not just a preseason game where they putting one quarterback in each quarter or switching back and forth. So I'm excited to see what he is capable of. I like the kid. I like Jackson Dart. So I want to see what he's capable of at this level. Unfortunately for him, he's playing for the Giants, which is right now one of the most horrible organizations in the NFL. They're not getting anything right. Coaching-wise, they're struggling. They don't know what the fuck they're doing, or at least they don't seem like they know what the fuck they're doing. But at the same time, you got on the other side of the ball, you got the Chargers, who are on a roll. In my opinion, the Chargers are going to end up being the number 1 seed of the AFC. Sorry, Tanner. I cannot wait to see this game because it's going to be Justin Herbert, who is on this motivational run where he's just getting everything done and the Chargers are not charging anymore. And it's going to be facing a new quarterback starting for the Giants. It's going to be interesting to watch. I'm picking the Chargers just because they are on a roll, and I think they're going to continue on a roll. They're going to just be making sure that the Giants don't get anything going this game. But it's still going to be fun to see.
Well, this is nothing against Jackson Dart, but I think maybe he could be good for the organization, perhaps. But I think he's going to bomb so badly in this debut because it's such a Giants thing to have happened that we're going to see Jameis Winston come out there just fucking.
Russ is still the backup. They named Russ the backup.
Oh, really? Okay.
Which makes no sense to me.
I would still
Russ
love to see
should be
Jameis.
Exiled to Elba or wherever the hell they send the
It was so hard to watch, dude. What? Jesus. They could have won that game. There was an avenue. There was a path. Anyway, it was literally Russ's fault. But I think that Justin Herbert is finally being the guy that they've been talking about for years in these
Mr.
first few
F.
games.
No more.
So like I never understood why he was always in the conversation. It kind of bothered me actually. And now finally I feel like he's meeting the expectations at least through the first 3 weeks. So like he's playing lights out, he's doing everything right, and I don't think they're going to be the 1 seed, unfortunately for you, Cesar. But I guess it has nothing to do with you. But for your opinion, Bills by a billion. But I think that they are going to be very good this year, and they're going to be hard to beat.
Well, here's the thing about Justin Herbert is he's always great in the regular season. He's the Justin Jefferson of quarterbacks, where it's like every year he sets the record for through however many years passing yards, and last year he threw 2 interceptions the entire season. It's the question about Justin Herbert cannot be answered until the playoffs. That's like he had that touchdown to Keenan Allen last week which first of all, Keenan Allen, a fantastic catch, but that throw was ridiculous. Like the dude has all the tools. Like they're not lying when they say the guy is top 5 talented. So we'll litigate that when we get to the playoffs. But I mean, the Chargers are top 10 in run defense. They're top 3 in defensive passer rating. They're top 5 in completion percentage allowed. So like, what the hell is Jackson Dart going to do? Like you can't even lean on the run. I mean, I guess you like Scadaboo was Scadaboo. Like everyone loves Scadaboo. And everyone should love Scadaboo. I don't know why he was way underdrafted. I don't know why that happened.
How is he in that organization? How is he with the Giants? It makes no sense. Good for them, but
he feels like a good fit for New Jersey. I'm not gonna lie.
He really does, actually. But
I don't know where he's from, but he's just working class white man. That's.
I saw something about like you got like the methodical white boy running backs like Chris McCaffrey, and then you've got the crayon eaters like Scott. And it's such a great description. He really seems like a crayon eater that will just fucking ram his face right through you. It's amazing.
Every play he gets up, he looks like he's shaking off a concussion in like 1975.
Yeah,
it's just like every single play ends with him like diving somewhere. Like he's just like I don't even know. He's
through people.
So enjoyable to watch. The Giants do this. I said it to Cesar, and I said it to Co, who I'm sure is listening, that it is criminal that we never got to see Tommy DeVito and Cam Scadaboo in the same backfield. Like that was just meant to happen. I don't know. The Giants, your boy Brian Daboll, I don't know what the problem is, but they have one key to victory, which is the Chargers are actually allowing a lot of pressure and a lot of sacks. And I say it every week. You got Sexy Dex, you got Brian Burns, you got Kayvon Thibodeau, you got Abdul the Butcher. They can get after the passer. That's the key to victory, but it's not going to happen because they're not going to be able to score unless Cam Scadaboo has like a Cam Scadaboo legacy game, and it's just not going to happen. Jim Harbaugh's not going to let that happen. He's going to be pounding the shoulder pads, wearing his khakis, and the Chargers are going to just waltz to an easy victory.
Yeah, I think Scadaboo is great and super fun to watch. I think he has a ceiling. I think it's I think he's not going to change anything for the team.
Yeah, the ceiling is the greatest running back of all time. Get ready. Cam Scadaboo season, baby.
Yeah. No, I think he's just going to be super enjoyable for years to come, but that's about it.
All right, next up we got Caesar's beloved Philadelphia Eagles taking on their arch nemesis, the Tampa Bay Baker Mayfields. Eagles, Bucks. Caesar, who you got?
You know, I always pick my Eagles. I never pick against them. That's for good luck. But you know how I always talk about the Buccaneers, how they are the Eagles' Achilles heel. They have been for the past couple of seasons. We have one victory against them in like the past 3 seasons. We have lost every single other game against them. Most of the games, for some reason, are at their home, at their stadium. I don't think they've faced us at our stadium.
In the playoffs, right?
No.
Or no, you guys didn't win the division 2 years ago?
No.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Dallas did. Shouts out the Cowboys.
I honestly believe that this is going to be the hardest game that the Eagles are going to be having this season so far. And we all know that the Eagles have not had the best season so far. Even though this 3-0, it has been a struggle, it has been a hard-fought victories, or in the case of the Cowboys, lucky victories. Um, I truly believe the Eagles can win this game, but with the injuries that we have on the defensive side of the ball this week, and the fact that offensively we did not click at the start of last week's game, we started clicking in the second half. Thankfully, the key to victory for the Eagles is the up tempo. Make sure that you try to avoid taking so much time on the clock. Just no huddle it up. Make sure you keep them guessing. Make sure you keep them. You have so many weapons in that offense that you can just continue to keep them guessing to make sure that defense, which is a really good defense, in fact, it's the only defense that has successfully stopped the brotherly shove. If you guys don't remember that, they have really good defense, so keep them guessing.
I love that you called it the brotherly shove.
I'm not gonna call it a tush push.
Yeah, it's a better name.
Oh god, it's a tush push.
Either way, defensively, the Eagles need to make sure that they apply pressure on Baker Mayfield. Make sure they get to him. Make sure that they apply pressure to him so he misses the plays because he's a really good quarterback. Baker Mayfield is a freaking stud. Those fucking smelling salts in the Tampa Bay complex are just laced with cocaine or something. I don't know what they are with. It's just they're not normal, and that man, he transforms into a rabid Wolverine, and he just makes things happen for that team, and that's what we need to avoid. We need to make sure that we keep them contained, control, and on their side of the field. We cannot let them pass midfield. If they do, they're going to continue to run over us, and they're going to continue to score and be able to make sure that they can come back to this game, and that's the key to victory. I'm picking the Eagles. I'm not going to take anything else. That's what I'm going to say. Fuck the Buccaneers.
I have become a massive Baker Mayfield fan.
Welcome
over the
to the
years.
club, baby.
It's been gradual. Like I never disliked him by any means, but I just he is my favorite number one pick of probably of all time. Like I just because I feel like he's never sucked. He's been with the Browns, but what he did with the Browns though was remarkable. You know what I mean?
They won a playoff game in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. And
it's insane.
And the way they repaid him for literally giving them the only light at the end of the tunnel that they've had. Earlier I said there was no light. That was the light. It was Baker Mayfield. And I just think he's a fucking dog, man. Like I don't think he's up there in the conversation in terms of like elite, but I think that he is right there on the cusp and has moments where he absolutely can be, but mostly I just think he's a hard fucking worker. I respect the shit out of his resolve and like being through the injury stuff he's been through and playing through certain things and just going through like I think a lot comes with being the number one pick, and I think that he sort of had this moment where it started to look like it was crumbling, and of course all the pundits are going to agree with that, and then he's just worked through it. And I think that this game is going to come down to the last stop and who's got the clock in their favor, and I think it's going to be the Buccaneers. Go Bucs.
All right. Well, first of all, let me say Baker Mayfield, in my humble opinion, and I will be releasing an episode where I give my quarterback rankings. Baker Mayfield is my sixth best quarterback in football. Josh Allen's number 1. Jalen Hurts is number 5. So shouts out those guys. But bear with me. I have to rattle off a shit ton of stats here because I came into this fully anticipating I was going to pick the Eagles, and I went down a rabbit hole of stats that by the end I was like, are the Eagles fucked? I still don't know who I'm going to pick, so I'm going to rattle through these and then I'm going to fucking wing it. But I will say this, first of all, the Eagles flew down there early and they're going to practice in Tampa on Thursday, which one of two things is going to happen. Either Sirianni is a genius or this is proof that the Bucs are so far in the Eagles' heads that they're grasping at straws. It's going to be one of the two extremes. So we'll see how that pans out. But then the Bucs signed Desmond Watson, the 450-pound defensive tackle that they had with him in training camp, and he didn't even practice in camp because he was too big to practice, and they had a plan for him to lose weight. And they signed him back. Todd Bowles says it's not about the tush push. He's probably not even going to play this week. So we'll see. Both teams, they're doing something where it's we'll see how, it's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him. But let me rattle off these stats. Yeah. The Eagles are their defense is tied for 30th in sacks in the league. And they lost Nolan Smith to the IR. They have 3 sacks on the season versus the Bucs, who have the 3rd best pressure rate allowed. So the Bucs don't allow pressure. The Eagles do not get sacks. So are the Eagles even going to be able to get to Baker? The Eagles and Bucs offense, they're 6th and 8th respectively in percentage of snaps facing the blitz, and they're both middle of the pack in sacks allowed. The Eagles have only given up 6 sacks. The Bucs have given up 7 sacks. But are the Eagles going to be forced to blitz to generate pressure because they're not getting pressure with the front four and Vic Fangio, who didn't blitz a single time in the Super Bowl? Now, like I said, they're blitzing much more often. And if they're forced to blitz, you have less people in coverage. And then Baker Mayfield is just going to be thrown to Emeka Egbuka, who, Cesar, we talked about this in the first episode of the season. I said is very hot takey. Is he the best of that group of Ohio State receivers? Marvin Harrison Jr., Chris Olave, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Garrett Wilson. And through 3 weeks, it's he might already be. There was one catch they didn't give him. They said it was out. He was in. I don't care who's watching it. He was in. That dude is filthy disgusting. And will the Bucs
one-hander last week?
Yeah, he's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Will the Bucs lay off the blitz to keep more bodies in coverage, to deal with A.J. Brown, to deal with Smitty? Both quarterbacks tend to scramble, but Baker averages almost 5 yards more per scramble than Jalen Hurts. Eagles are dead last in play-action pass attempts, which to me seems wild because they have Saquon Barkley. Even if he's having a down year, you have to, 3 games into the year, respect Saquon Barkley coming off of a season where he had more yards than anybody in history, including the playoffs. And they're just not running play action. The Bucs are 7th in the league in rushing. Eagles are 14th despite having Hurts and Saquon, who, like I said, is having a down year. Bucs 6th best yards per carry allowed at 3.6 yards per carry. Eagles are 27th. They allow 5.1 yards per attempt. And the Bucs have broken more than twice as many tackles as Philly. So, I came into this, I was going to pick the Eagles, and because the Bucs, they're riding the edge, they're riding the lightning. They 3 games to start the year, they're 3-0, and all 3 were fourth quarter comebacks.
Yeah.
But every year it feels like there's one of those teams where it's just they ride the edge and they find ways to get it done. And based on all of this, I'm picking the Bucs, which means the Eagles are going to win. But I'm picking the Bucs.
The Eagles definitely have a offensive coordinator problem. I'm not saying fire the guy. I'm not saying change the guy. Whatever. All I'm saying is
so
that
Philly.
Something is not clicking, and that's it. That's just the issue. They're not clicking.
Jalen Hurts says it's unacceptable.
Well, he went up to the guy and he said, "I don't know what he's. I wish I could read lips because he was in his face before that comeback. Before they started actually making some plays." He was in the face of that guy, Patullo. And Patullo was not even looking at him. Hurts started talking to somebody else that was right next to Patullo. He was just Hurts looked very frustrated, which is unusual for him because he barely shows any emotions on the sideline. But as soon as he had that conversation, as soon as he actually went up to them, that's when they came back. That's when they started playing.
Because Hurts went in there is yo, you got to let me throw the rock. We got whatever you're doing is not working.
Yeah, he probably said I'm calling plays right now. Sit down. Okay, sit down. And he did. I'm not saying that's what he did, but they did actually play really well that second half. Especially they didn't allow a single point to be scored that second half. That's why I like Vic Fan. I believe in Vic Fangio. I believe that even though with those injuries, which is going to be hard for them to get adapted, but they have a lot of depth in that defense that they can have players to move around and see how they do and they work with those positions. I believe that Fangio is going to be able to find a way for us to beat Tampa Bay. I don't think Fangio was last. Did we play? I can't remember if the Eagles played Tampa Bay last season.
Yeah.
I don't think they did. They did?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember.
Because you both won the division. Or no, you didn't, because you didn't win the division the year before, so you didn't play. Never mind. I don't know. I keep thinking the Eagles won the division in 2023.
This is gonna be the first time in like a decade or 20 years or whatever that the NFC East is gonna repeat the divisional winner. But yeah, I don't think they faced last year. I don't think Fangio has been the coordinator against Tampa Bay before, so we'll see. We'll see how he works out, bro. I think he has this, so that's what I'm hopeful for.
All right, let's move on because we got 7 more games and we're already an hour deep into this thing. Indianapolis Colts at the Los Angeles Rams. Tanner, who you like in this one?
I mean, the Colts. I don't know. I can't at this point. I don't know what the fuck's happening with that team. Caught me completely off guard, and I don't know. I think that I don't by any means think they're gonna have an undefeated season, but I think that if they can keep up whatever they're doing, I think they can dismantle the Rams. I think the Rams have a good defense, and it's going to be a good matchup. But I think unless this has all been some strange fluke and it's like, oh, that's the real Colts in week 4, then I think that they have the powers and the tools to take out the Rams.
Cesar.
I'm going with Indiana Jones and the Indianapolis Colts. I think the Colts are. We put it with the Buccaneers. I think they're riding the lightning right now, and they're going to ride it all the way as soon as it takes them. They're just going to continue to dominate. The Rams just came. They're coming in with a heartbreaking loss for that team. They were dominating the entire first half of that game, and then the second half they couldn't score a single point, not even a field goal. So they're probably not going to bounce back. I think their spirits were crushed. So I believe that the Colts are going to take advantage of that. So yeah.
So we're all on the Colts, huh? I am not on the Colts. I am on the Rams, and here's why. I if they get to 4-0, I will buy into the Colts, which means they will promptly drop off a cliff. But 3 games is too small a sample size. I'll give him this. Shane Steichen, for as much shit as he's gotten, for as bad as Anthony Richardson has been, and as inept as Flacco was when he was with the Colts, they're constantly like 8-9 win territory. Like he's squeezing good play out of these guys. But Indiana Jones has shredded the blitz this season. But the Rams are in the bottom half of the league in blitz percentage. So will Jones be able to deal with more guys in coverage? Like some quarterbacks, they're bad against pressure, but they're good against the blitz because there's less pieces to deal with. There's less guys in zone. There's less help if you're in man coverage. Colts are 3rd in the league in rushing yards, but the Rams are 11th in yards per carry allowed and 13th in rushing yards allowed. And they did an excellent job against Saquon Barkley. Rams are 10th in rushing yards, but the Colts are 8th in rushing yards allowed. So I do tend to lean into John Taylor's gonna get his because he is very quietly. Everyone's focused on Daniel Jones because he's playing excellent and just it wasn't expected. But Jonathan Taylor is playing excellent ball. Mm-hmm. The Colts are tied for 4th in defensive interception percentage, which I got to give a shout out to my boy Cam Beasy because that's all he does is make well-timed interceptions purely because he wants to do his dance, do his celebrations. And we know Stafford is prone to turning into ass Stafford and throwing up some bozo balls. Rams lead the league in sacks, tied with Denver, and the Colts have given up the fewest sacks. So which one gives there? I think the metrics point to the Colts. So I'm changing my pick and I'm going with the Colts.
That was great.
I hate the Rams.
Fuck the Rams.
I'm at the point I might hate the Rams more than I hate the Eagles, which is saying a lot because I have decades of disdain for the Eagles and a lot of personal animosity.
We gave you two players that were to your advantage and to your part of the fact that you won last week, and that's Isaiah Rodgers and Carson Wentz.
To Isaiah Rodgers. We didn't even talk about him in the Vikings. Isaiah Rodgers, just a revelation. I was also reminded by Adam, because in my head, we never beat the Eagles. And he's like, you're 4-4 in your last 8 games against the Eagles. And then he brought up the 2019 game, which neither he nor I had any recollection of. Jake Elliott threw an interception in 2019 against the Vikings. I'm like, there's no way that happened, and I wouldn't remember that happening. But that has nothing to do with this game. But
Rodgers, I told you once you told me that the Vikings signed Rodgers, I was like, take care of that kid. He's good.
He is a stud.
I hate when once I heard that they were not signing him, I was like, fuck, why are we not signing Rodgers? He's so good.
That's the tie-in, is he started his career with the Colts and then he got suspended for a year for gambling. But he's cleaned up. He's a changed man.
Eagles are always a team that gives second chances to criminals and people who do not behave well.
Hey, it panned out. Panned out for him. All right, next up we got Jacksonville at San Francisco. 2-1 Jacksonville. 3-0 San Francisco 49ers likely still starting. Return of the Mac Jones season. Cesar, who you like in this one?
I want to say the Jaguars, but no. I don't think the Jaguars are going to be able to beat the 49ers. Mac Jones, you called him last week. He played well.
My dog.
He did
My guy, Mac Jones, baby.
He had a really good game, so I'm picking the 49ers. I think they're going to still stay undefeated for this week. So, yeah, I'm picking the 49ers. There's nothing else I can say. I like the Jaguars, but no.
Tanner, who you got?
I think I was fully prepared to predict the downfall of the 3-0 record, but I don't think so. I think that Mac Attack stays up on his feet and leads them to victory. But ultimately, I do predict that once they hit a tougher section of their schedule, they're gonna crumble a little bit and end up fairly average. I don't know. They cannot stay healthy to save their lives. Even Mac Jones, I think got hurt last game, right? Minorly, but they just crumble. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the field. I don't know if it's that or training staff. I have no idea, but it's pretty crazy. So I do think though that they maintain, go 4-0. I don't think Trevor Lawrence and the band of misfits are going to be able to pull it out.
Here's the thing. Trevor Lawrence, I got – this is another game I went down a statistical rabbit hole on because it just became fascinating to me. Trevor Lawrence is kind of a fucking bum. Jacksonville has faced the lowest pressure percentage by far in the league. Lawrence has only been sacked 3 times in 3 games. He's tied for first in quickest time to release. He has the 6th best on-target throw percentage. They've only allowed 3 hurries, but somehow he has the 4th highest interception rate in the league, which doesn't make any sense. It's a bunch of metrics that basically say dude is prone to throwing bozo balls.
Yeah.
And he's second to last among qualified quarterbacks in completion percentage behind only Cam Ward, who's a rookie and has played a bunch of high pressure rate teams. Part of that is they do lead the league in drops, 14 drops, so that's going to contribute to the completion percentage, but that ain't contributing to the interceptions. But the Niners they're 27th in sacks, 30th in pressure rate, and they're one of only 5 teams without an interception. So something's got to give there. Either Trevor Lawrence is finally going to not throw a ball away, or the Niners are finally going to get a pick. On the flip side, the Jags lead the league in interceptions, but Mac Jones has only thrown 1 in his 2 games, and he's top 5 in quarterback success rate, which is more or less just like a catch-all passing efficiency stat. But the Niners have the 5th worst pressure rate allowed, so they do allow a lot of they allow a lot of pressure. Jags top 5 in rushing, Niners bottom 6 in rushing, despite Christian McCaffrey. Jags top 5 in stopping the run, Niners 15th, but the Niners are tied for 7th in yards per carry allowed. So I think the Jags should be able to run the ball in this game.
Do it.
I'm picking.
Do it.
Duval. Jags, baby. 3-1. 3-1, baby. I do have money on the Niners to be the last undefeated team, which every week that has gone by, every injury that they get looks more and more like the dumbest bet that I've ever made, other than when I bet the Titans to make the playoffs last year, and then they were the worst team in football. But I'm going with the Jags. The Niners they're scraping by in these games with the injuries.
The curse of the goal, man. The goal curse.
They dug too deep, and they awoken an ancient evil.
Aztec
deep
evil.
In the mines. The last Balrog of Morgoth. It's coming for the Niners. All right, next up we got maybe the game of the week. I mean, we got some options here with the game of the weeks, to be completely honest. Bucks Eagles is very tantalizing. The game, and the sad part is the game of the week is a game against or between 2 teams that are 1-2. The Baltimore Ravens at the Kansas City Chiefs. Tanner, who you like in this one?
Oh boy. I've talked about this.
I assume you hate both of them. But...
I mean, I do. I loathe them entirely.
One more than the other.
Yeah, I mean, I only hate the Ravens because they scare me. As
any white man should be.
So many ways. Jesus Christ. Not for that particular reason. But no, I just they for years they have had every strength that the Bills have as a weakness. But the Chiefs have never scared me. They just fucking irritate the shit out of me. And I am just so overjoyed that these 2 teams in the AFC are put in a position where one of them is going to be 1-3. I just think that's or wait, what is it?
Yeah,
1-3. Yeah.
You're right.
Amazing, incredible. But I think that the team that is going to be 1-3 is the Kansas City Chiefs.
He's so giddy about it too. Look at him, like he's just like a child, like just excited about it.
I don't know. I could go either way, to be honest, but I just my vengeance wants the Chiefs to be 1-3, but also I don't know, man. There is not a single there was literally a path last game against the Giants where if it was not Russell Wilson behind center, they certainly could have won, and there were just so many opportunities. So the Chiefs are not impressive or terrifying in any kind of way this year. They really last year either. They truly their wins were not remarkable in any way. Many of them were very controversial in the fact that they should not have won. But the most one-score game wins in whatever. So fuck the Chiefs. The Ravens have so much more talent that is executing right now. If Derrick Henry can hold on to the motherfucking ball, and break his streak, I think that they can do damage. Obviously, defensively, they're up against some heavier hitters, but I don't know. I think that they're so fucking angry that they're going to play angrier than the Chiefs are capable of playing at this moment. And Ravens are going to win.
I think that's an interesting point. I'm going to send it to you, Cesar, in a second. But it's an interesting point that, people are saying, did the Chiefs figure something out in the second half against the Giants? And I don't know that they did. but that kind of takes the edge off of like you could kind of take a breath, like yeah, maybe we did figure something out. But now you got to go play the Ravens, who are one of the 2 or 3 most talented rosters in football, versus the Ravens, who have more or less. I don't want to say they didn't choke away the Lions game, but they choked away their chance to win the Lions game, and they choked away the Buffalo game. Like, the Ravens have got to be pissed, and I would not want to play an angry Derrick Henry.
No.
I'm going to say that. I don't want to play Derrick Henry if he's like high on mushrooms and picking flowers on the sideline. I damn sure don't want to play him where he's got to fumble in 3 straight games. So
yeah.
I'll get to my pick, but Cesar, give me your pick first.
What do I always say about the Ravens? When they lose, they bounce back.
Yeah.
Always. Because what you said, they are very angry when they lose. So the next week, they're going to come out swinging, and they're going to swing so hard that they're going to make sure that their opponent stays down. That's what's going to happen. Quote to the Raven, nevermore.
Listen, Lamar Jackson is like the most fun player to watch. There's a play. It was right before the end of the first half in that Lions game where you think of Lamar being mobile. It's like he can run. He's super fast. He's crazy shifty. He's like Nightcrawler. He disappears and reappears and slips into the Matrix and does all that. But in the pocket, his ability to just like subtly shift. It feels like just like 2 inches one way or the other to avoid a sack. There was a play where it like 3 times in 3 seconds. I'm watching. I'm like, oh, he's gonna get sacked, and he just and it's remarkable to watch. He's been sacked 12 times this year, but 7 of them were in that Detroit game.
Well, and what's
nuts.
really interesting, real quick, is that he has 7 at-fault sacks this year, and I'm almost certain that they were all in that game.
Yeah,
like it was not good.
No, I mean, but that's Detroit being Detroit. Kansas City does not have that type of gas. But for what it's worth, Xavier Worthy was a full participant in practice today on Wednesday. Neither one of these defenses is particularly great at anything, and obviously the Ravens have been giving up like a shit ton of points. How many points did the Bills score in that first game?
41.
There you go. They're giving up a lot of points, but they have the talent. They had a lot of injuries up front on defense on Monday night. I don't know if they're going to come back. I have not looked at the injury report, and it's not going to matter anyway until game day. Ravens are giving up 149 rushing yards a game, which is 3rd to last in the league, and 4.9 yards a carry. But the Chiefs, it's Andy Reid. Like, he just goes through these bouts where they don't run the ball. So, like, are they going to run the ball against a team that cannot stop the run? The Ravens only have 3 sacks. I think it's going to come down to the Ravens' capacity to play competent defense down the stretch. And I have smelled this since week 1. I'm with Cesar about the bounce back. I guess we're all on the Ravens, and the Chiefs are going to be 1-3, and we all rejoice.
It will be glorious.
Oh, yes, it will. We lost Cesar, so I'm going to move on to the next game because it's kind of a whatever game. Tanner, who you like in this one? Chicago Bears at the Las Vegas Raiders.
Before you continue, Tanner, I want to apologize. I'm sorry. I got allergies sticking up, so that's why I like standing up. So my bad. Apologize about that.
So
you are a piece of shit. I like the Raiders for this one. I don't really know what else to say about it. I don't really have a whole lot of statistical backing or anything, but I think that they've been doing some decent things, and I just do not trust the Bears as far as I can throw them. I don't trust the consistency in any way.
Sunday.
They did, but I don't trust their consistency. I think there's just such bizarre decision making, and I don't know. I'm going Raiders.
Cesar?
Fuck Geno Smith. I'm picking the Bears. I said it once. I'll say it again. I'm never picking Geno Smith or the Seahawks ever again. Every time I pick him to win, he loses. Every time I pick him to lose, he wins. So you know what? Fuck him. I hope he loses every single game.
So it looks like I'm going to win this pick.
Yeah, you might, but I'm not gonna even like. I was gonna pick them. I said I like the Raiders. I think they have something going on. I don't think they're there yet to be a contender, but I think they have something going on. And the Bears are not a very solid team. They look really good last. I was flabbergasted because I was not expecting them to be that good on Sunday. I don't know what happened there. The Cowboys might be bad. Are they bad? Maybe. I don't know what the hell happened there, but. The Bears look good. I was not going to pick them for this game, but I'm refused to pick Geno Smith. So I'm going to pick the Bears. I'm going to pick the Bears and see if they actually can double down on what they did last Sunday against the Cowboys and see if they can actually do something against the Raiders, which is not as, well, on paper, it's not as solid as a team as the Cowboys. So we'll see. I'm picking the Bears.
Both these teams are pretty bad at running the football. The Bears' defense has given up a ton of yards. They're bottom 6 in passing yards allowed and defensive passer rating, so Geno should be able to sling it because he's willing to sling it. So he's going to at least try. But the Raiders are bottom 10 in passing yards allowed and defensive passer rating. Caleb didn't take a sack for the first time in his career last Sunday, and their offense actually looked like a Ben Johnson offense for the first time this season. And I think the key here is the creativity of Ben Johnson's offense creates a system where it's part of the system for Caleb to do the crazy Caleb off-schedule stuff. So the off-schedule stuff sort of becomes part of the structure, but that has to be set up by playing on schedule. Will Caleb play on schedule 2 weeks in a row? I think he will. I think the Bears are going to win this game. I think it could go either way, but it's so like there's really nothing to hang your hat on. I've liked the Bears defense for a few years, even if the stats don't really back it up right now. I think they have some talent, and the Raiders' run game has just been terrible. And Geno is going to throw a red zone interception. It's inevitable. So I don't know if Caleb's going to have 0 sacks again, but I think Ben Johnson is going to start to get into a groove, and they're going to win this game.
Bear down.
No.
Horrible catchphrase.
Yeah, it's like among the worst.
No sense. It makes no sense. They're saying they're down. Like, how is that a positive thing? It just makes no sense.
It's so bad. What's the Lions? I don't know what the Lions like. The Vikings have Skull, which comes from like chopping off the heads of your enemies and drinking mead out of their skin skulls. Go Pack Go is very basic, but like it's what it is. At least it makes sense. Bear down is not it doesn't make sense. It makes no sense. It's terrible. Why did I pick the Bears?
Lions is probably just like some Eminem lyric or something.
I don't know. All right, next up we got the game everybody's been waiting for. The true game of the week. The New Jersey Jets at the Miami Dolphins. Tanner, these teams are in your division.
Hold on.
You know more about them than us.
Football. You skipped Sunday Night Football.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You're right. All right. Well, there's a little tease for the best game of the week. Sunday Night Football. Here's a guy. Green Bay Packers at the Dallas Cowboys. The Micah Parsons revenge game. Jerry Jones is going to be wearing his diaper in the press box or in the suite up top, praying for the best. The gambler and his Cowboys. Cesar, who you got?
Let me ask you something, Kyle.
Go ahead.
I asked you this question after week 1.
Yeah.
Are the Cowboys bad?
Their pass defense is atrocious. I'll tell you that much. That pass defense is not good.
You know what? I predicted Jerry Jones is going to be a very happy man this coming Sunday night. I'm picking the Cowboys.
Wow.
There's not going to be a revenge game. Micah Parsons is not going to even touch Dak Prescott. I'm telling you right now.
Okay.
Your hatred of the Packers for putting this tush push ban into the ether is like remarkable.
Yeah. Fuck them.
All right, Tanner.
I'm picking the Cowboys over the Packers. An Eagles fan is picking the Cowboys to win again and to make Jerry Jones happy. Not because I like the Cowboys, because I don't, but because I believe that the Packers are a bunch of bums with a pretty boy for a coach. And they're so soft that instead of trying to stop a play, they want to ban it. Ban the tush push. We don't want to stop it. We want to ban. Even Clay Matthews was talking shit online. Like, fuck you, Clay Matthews. Stay retired.
All right. Well, Packers are going to win this game. And I feel very confident about that. I mean, who the fuck is Dak throwing to at this point? CeeDee Lamb's out. I don't know.
Turpin.
I don't see it. I think that
Ryan Flournoy, my guy.
I think it is a dominant Packers victory.
Okay. I am picking the Packers, but here's how the Cowboys can win. Matt Eberflus has had a top 10 defense in takeaways in every year since 2018, except for his first year in Chicago, where they were 15th, including 3 years where they were top 5 in takeaways. You mix this with the very opportunistic talent that Dallas has. You think about the Mike McCarthy years where they had Dan Quinn, and they were just constantly picking balls off. Now, granted, you don't have Deron Bland. He's out. But they got to hope that Jordan Love, who's a streaky shooter, he's been a streaky player his entire starting career thus far. He had that long stretch with no interceptions. He throws the back-breaking interception against the Browns late in that game. They got to hope that this is now starting a streak where he's going to throw a bunch of those bozo balls, and they're going to have to take advantage of said bozo balls, and they're going to have to take advantage of him going deep and not connecting, because they have been crushed. I believe 15 passes in the last 2 weeks that have gone for 25 plus yards. Donovan Wilson should be shot into the sun. Either that or just buried in one of Jerry's oil wells somewhere. But they're going to need, because Jordan Love loves going deep, loves to go deep. They're going to have to pick those balls off. But no Tyler Booker, no Cooper Beebe. You have Micah Parsons, who they move all across the line. He's going to get pressure. He can say it's going to be tough to go up against his boy Dak, who is a mentor to him, but he's going to feast all night long, and the Packers are going to win this game. No doubt in my mind. No doubt. If the Packers won handily last week, maybe, but there's no way they're going to lose to the Browns and then turn around and not be ready to go against another possibly bad team.
If I'm not mistaken, it was last week when you said that Jordan Love hasn't thrown a pick in like 200 consecutive something like that. In that sense, what happened last week?
Well, I said it. I literally laid out. I said that the Browns have no shot in this game, but the one shot they do have is they need a well-timed interception, and they need to take advantage, and they need to stop the run. And they stopped the run, and they got a well-timed interception, and they took advantage. So I'm a genius.
You're gonna jinx them again. They're gonna lose this game.
Maybe
they're gonna lose this game. I'm telling you right now. Jerry Jones is gonna look like a very happy Darth Vader-esque or Emperor-esque figure in that owner's box in Jerry World over there in that horrible stadium.
He's a brilliant actor, though.
Oh yeah, tremendous.
Is he?
He was in Landman. It was literally incredible.
It's like tears in your eyes.
Should have won an Emmy.
Holy shit!
What movie?
It's a show.
Landman.
Taylor Sheridan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you like Taylor Sheridan?
Yeah.
Everyone likes Taylor Sheridan, don't they?
He's a
That's
very
the guy
good writer.
from Yellowstone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like his stuff. I like his work.
Anyway, we digress. Sorry, Kyle.
Very blue collar.
All right, next up we got the game of the week: the New Jersey Jets, the Miami Dolphins. Tanner, AFC East foes. You know more about him than us. Who you got in this one?
Yeah, I mean, by all accounts, the Dolphins should not be this bad.
Not this bad.
Not this bad. But they are, and I don't have much to say about it. I mean, like, I think that like maybe some people might have seen something in the last game because like it was closer than anyone anticipated, but like at no point was I worried about it. At no point was I surprised by it. It's a divisional game. This is also a divisional game, but you're dealing with two teams where like neither has any kind of like momentum advantage. One of them has to break their losing streak, and I think it's going to be the Jets.
Cesar?
I'm going Dolphins. I like what I saw during that game against the Bills. I told you I was texting Kyle during that game, and I told him McDaniels, or whatever his last name is, Mr. I look cool with my sunglasses and hoodie and sweatpants. He looked like a guy of withdrawal. He looked like a guy.
He looked like he was on cocaine and crack, perhaps.
No, he looked like he was on withdrawal. He looked like he was sweating every single ounce of toxins out of his body because he hasn't taken any in like a whole week. There was something about that team that looked different from the first 2 weeks of this season. They looked confident. They looked disciplined. And the coach actually was paying attention to what was going on.
They look disciplined?
Better than
What
the
game
first
were
2
you
weeks.
watching?
Better than the first 2 weeks.
Holy
They looked
shit.
a lot better
That's
than
a
the first
low
2
bar.
weeks. Tua was having a good game until that pick, and that sealed the game for him. That's
That
fine.
bar was on the ground, my dog.
What?
Like, that bar was on the ground. It was so low.
It's fine. I'm not saying they're gonna win the division. I'm not saying they're gonna even get to the playoffs. All I'm saying is that I like what I saw. I think that I see a team that's actually trying to turn things around and not just giving up like how they look at week 2 after they got dismantled by the Colts in week 1. I feel like they're actually taking this situation seriously. I feel they're actually making the changes necessary in attitude, in culture, within that organization, within that team to get better. So I'm picking the Dolphins. That's the
That is the
reason.
most ridiculous thing you have ever said on this show.
Hey, I'm a noob for a reason, but I have faith in the fact that they actually have intent in growing and getting better. The Jets, they're just going to stay the same at the same level. Their quarterback is injured. They're not bad. They're just, I don't see them trying to get
off Tyrod Taylor. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'm not writing him off. All I'm saying is I think the Dolphins are going to surprise us. That's it.
The Dolphins attempted to surprise us last week, and they fell flat on their feet. That bar that is so low it's laying on the ground, they tripped over it. That's why they went over the bar, because they fell over the bar.
And that would have been a surprise. Them beating the Jets is not a surprise. It's just like, okay.
Yeah. It's here's the deal. It's Tua has, you said they look confident. Tua has zero confidence. He literally went into that Bills game saying, yeah, they got a better quarterback than us.
He's like, I can't do like any of that.
Of course, like Josh Allen's the best quarterback in the league. So like, yeah, but like, why would you say that? Then you got him and McDaniel
I agree.
asked about the interception that ended the game. And Tua says, yeah, you know, I'd make that throw every time. It was the right read. And then McDaniel said it was the wrong read. He was supposed to go to the flat. Like, they have no idea what they're doing. These two teams, the Jets. Here's why I like the Jets, because Aaron Glenn, when they had, what was it, the blocked kick,
Yeah,
and him just like dancing down the sideline just to lose.
Yeah.
Their defense has been terrible. Like you look at the talent on that defense, and as good as they had been before, like week 6 of last year, and they're playing terrible. The weapons on offense, they look good in week 1. They put some points up on the board last week. But both these teams are allergic to winning. I'm not going to give you any stats on this game. I am predicting this game to end in a tie.
Hell yeah. I'd be happy with that.
I don't know about that, but all right. Of
Just
course, you'd
watch.
be happy with that.
Just
Mr.
watch.
AFC East.
Neither get a win. They don't get a loss, but neither get a win.
Listen, he doesn't have to worry about any of the teams.
0
The
points
Bills
scored.
won the division in the preseason.
What game was it? What game was it? What like last season was like? It was like punt. It was like no points scored until like the last quarter or something like that. It was just a horrible game. Remember that game?
Was it No, that was 2 years ago. The Vikings Raiders that ended 3-0.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
That was fantastic.
Just punt. No fucking points scored. Like that's probably what's gonna happen in this game. Just punting it away.
The best part about that Raiders-Vikings game is the next week the Raiders put like 63 points up on the Chargers and Brandon Staley got fired. God, I love football. Just week to week, you just have no idea what's going to happen. It doesn't matter what the team is, if they're good, bad, or anywhere in between. It's just like stuff just happens and it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It's tremendous. All right, we got the second Monday night game.
I hate these.
The listless, licking their wounds Cincinnati Bengals just got the absolute doors blown off them by the Minnesota Vikings at the Denver Broncos, who blew yet another fourth quarter lead. Tanner, who you got in this one?
I got the Broncos. I have zero faith in Cincinnati right now. Obviously, they're down Joe Burrow. They're not able to. I mean, sometimes that's not enough to rule a team out. But in this case, Jake Browning showed no promise whatsoever, and as a leader of the offense, I don't think it matters that they have the talent they have at wide receiver, and otherwise. I just don't think they're able to figure it out with what's going on. And I really am just kind of basing that off of last game, but also just the facts, the factors that are surrounding that. But I just really like the Broncos. I don't know, like I just feel like they have like sneaky talent, and I think they're coming away with a dub.
Cesar?
I don't like how any of these teams look right now. They're not looking good at all. But I'm with Tanner. I think the Broncos are going to be coming out of this game on top. The Bengals are just a mess right now. That defense is not good. The quarterback is hurt. That offensive line does not know how to protect their quarterback. It's just a bad scenario right there. On the other side, well, the Broncos haven't been looked good either. I don't think there's chemistry between Bo Nix and his coach right now. You said it last week. I think it's still the case. So, yeah, I'm picking the Broncos, but it's just like – it's like seeing the first fight of a major boxing card. It's just nobody gives a shit. So, yeah, Broncos.
If this is the first fight on a boxing card, then what's the Jets-Dolphins? Is that just like two bums fighting in an alley?
That was the Mike Tyson fucking Jake Paul fight.
Atrocious.
Horrible.
All right. What a boring finish to the show, because I'm also picking the Broncos. Cincinnati has allowed the second most pressures in the league, to your point, Cesar, about their offensive line not being able to protect anyone. We know their defense sucks. Trey Hendrickson did absolutely nothing last week. I don't know if Cam Taylor-Britt is still injured. I don't know if Shamar is still injured. They're rookie, but it doesn't matter. Denver has looked good at times this season. I agree with you about the chemistry with Bo Nix and Sean Payton, in part because I said that last week, which is information that I got from a friend of the show. But Broncos lead the league in defensive pressure rate, and Cincy allows the second most pressures in the league.
So
like
paper,
that's it.
They should win.
On paper, they should win. They have the secondary talent to handle Jamar Chase and T. Higgins as best you can. And Chase Brown, their starting running back, is averaging less than 2 yards a carry for the season. Less than 2 yards a carry for the season. Awful. Jake Browning leads the league in interceptions, and he's played half as much football as virtually every other quarterback in the league. The Bengals suck. They're not going to bounce back.
Relegate them to the UFL.
And the Broncos are going to find a way to win this game, even though Bo Nix is regressing. But the Broncos ain't. And in Mile High Stadium, Browning, he's going to have a couple balls sail on him. Pat Surtain's going to pick it off, just like his daddy. Speaking of which, that Miami Dolphins team back in the early to mid-2000s, that defense was fantastic. Pat Surtain, Adewale Ogunleye, Jason Taylor, Zach Thomas, Brock Marion.
I wasn't watching back then.
Studs.
I should have been watching. Probably would have been watching the last years of good old-fashioned football with tackles that make men look like they were dying on the field.
Hey, to be fair, the Bills did have someone die on the field recently. Okay.
He came back. Comeback player of the year, right?
It doesn't count. He lived.
Confirmed
He's
necromancer.
Fine. He came back a terrible football player. It's great.
All right, well, those are the picks for the week. I don't know how many divergent picks we have, but if that Jets-Dolphins tie happens, I win by default. This is my show, and I make the rules.
You and we're mostly the same, but mostly you and Kyle are agreeing on most of the games. I have a couple where we're not on the same page. There's a couple where Tanner and I are on the same page, but you're not on the same page, Kyle. And what do you pick between the Ravens and the Chiefs? The Ravens?
Yes.
I didn't put that down, so let me put that down right here. All right.
The bookkeeper.
All right.
All right, either one of you have any non-pick predictions?
I already predicted that Micah Parsons is not going to touch Dak Prescott.
This guy's a Dak Prescott fan all of a sudden.
Fuck him.
First of all, Micah Parsons really hasn't done much yet.
First of all, fuck Dak Prescott for baiting Jalen Carter into spitting on him in week 1. I don't care what anybody said. Oh, he spat on the board. No. He spat on that man's general direction, mocked him, smiled, and then nodded his head. He knew what he was doing. He knew Jalen Carter was a hothead. He knew Jalen Carter would have made something, do something, say something in front of the refs that's going to cost him. Even if it wasn't just disqualification. No, he's a smart idiot. Fuck him. But he lost the game anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, God.
But he knew what he was doing.
My prediction is that Trey Tucker of the Raiders, who is coming off of a 3-touchdown game, is going to have a 3-touchdown game.
Wow.
And my weekly prediction of Travis Kelce ain't doing shit.
I will just preface that prediction by I'm starting him in fantasy, and I need him to have a 3.
Of course.
My team is
my
so
prediction.
bad.
My prediction is Baker Mayfield will have the ball in his hands with a chance to create a fourth quarter comeback. And per my prediction, he'll get it done. But at the very least, he's going to have the ball in his hands with a chance for another fourth quarter comeback.
Against the man you said last week he's the best game manager in the league?
Yeah.
I mean,
our offensive coordinator's still trying to figure it out, and the Eagles can't get any pressure on the quarterback.
Right.
And now they're down Nolan Smith.
That kind of goes with my prediction, which is that game is going to come down to the last stop and who has the time and who has the ball.
It's got to.
Yeah. It's going to be another one of those games where I'm sitting on the edge of my seat thinking I'm going to have a heart attack and I'm going to have a horrible week. And then at the end of the game, the Eagles are going to win, and I'll be happy.
That was, by the way, just the craziest Sunday.
Dude, It was literally like 2 blocked kicks returned for touchdowns in like
Dude,
2 minutes.
I literally
yeah.
watched that one. The game ended, and I was like texting Kyle and other people. I was like, "Wow!" And then I flipped over to the Jets game, and it immediately happened. This is wild. Ugh.
Absurd.
Well, that's football for you.
Yep.
Yes,
Love
it
football.
is.
There's no other sport that has the drama without being scripted. I don't care what anybody says. That the NFL has, the American football has in general. Like, there's no other sport that has this kind of drama. There's basketball is not capable. Soccer, it's not capable. Hockey, I don't know. I don't watch hockey. I don't really know how that goes.
Stanley Cup playoffs is pretty.
I'm not
pretty
saying
dramatic.
I'm not saying it's a bad sport. I'm saying I have no experience watching a game of hockey, so I can't commentate and compare it to baseball. No, it's just, there's just no other sport that is capable of having this dramatic impact in each game. Where like it's just like it's exciting. Like sometimes, like most sports, oh, they won, good. They're ahead for like 25 points. Nobody cares. But then there's games like this is like, man, look at that block field goal, and then he runs it. A 300-plus man just runs the ball to the end zone and reaches almost 20 miles an hour. Running.
That was,
like,
by the way, very funny because he literally didn't have to do that.
Dude,
like at all.
If you're a defensive lineman,
Dude, if you bet the spread,
you have the chance to do a walk-off touchdown, you fucking go for it.
if you bet the Rams to cover the spread in that game, I cannot tell you how catastrophically pissed off you were that he took that thing back for a touchdown. One of the worst bad beats of all time. A 300-pound man takes a blocked kick back 70-something yards at the buzzer to screw up the spread. Conversely, if you bet the Eagles to cover the spread,
you may think
maybe the best day of your life.
And like
that's
why
the beauty of football is I feel like every single week you see something that it's like, I didn't know that could happen.
Yeah.
Every week.
And they like stopped chasing him at like the 30-yard line. He just kept fucking barreling.
They gave up. It was like, oh, fuck this.
Well, because what's the point? They won.
Yeah. Like let him fucking go and celebrate with the fans and just have his moment.
Yeah.
We hate the Eagles, like the guy said in the locker room. Like, I hate the Eagles. Like, well, yeah, go cry, bitch. Go get on the plane and cry. Go back to Los Angeles in your crappy little city.
All right, let's wrap this up because we're going hella long. So thank you, Cesar. Thank you, Tanner, for joining us. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, do all that fun stuff. Please please subscribe. We need more numbers. Please just do it. God bless football. Skol Vikings.
Go Birds.
Go Bills.
Sure. Go Bills. Broncos country. Let's ride.
Duval.